4 games for Grimmer now. What have you seen him doing so well at the plate right now?
I think he's just settling in, and he's the thing that's cool is he's hitting all kinds of different pitches, sliders, curveballs, heaters, and that second one he hit tonight was crushed. And it just kind of sit there, and it's usually a good sign of just watching. I know I got a new perspective where I'm standing, but when guys are able to hit homers and then just essentially just walk, whether completely under control or they can sit there for a minute, that's a dangerous spot when those guys get there. But he's seeing beach balls right now, and that's what we need in the middle of the order, and hopefully that continues.
How great was it to see Frederick and Rudy kind of bounce back tonight?
It's phenomenal. We need him. I challenged the pen after the last weekend, and we talked about it again after the game tonight. And Frederick made some adjustments. We talked about some different deals. I just thought he's really been getting ambushed. And the one Aaron Beatty hit out to left, kind of a tip of the cap slider. You never see a pitch from that angle. But the second one was really middle. That darter hit out to right. So just got to make some adjustments. That's what it's about. So hopefully you guys saw kind of a little bit different slots, doing some different things with the heater, creating some different shapes where they're not able to cut one side of the plate and just focus on one side. So that was a really good response. And then Rudy didn't want to use him tonight, to be honest, but I thought at that point in the game you drop a pop-up, which cannot happen at any point, regardless of twilight or lights in our league. You can't give out those free 90 feeds, but he did a really good job of putting out the fire right there and doing some different things. And those guys, the theme for the group needs to be very simple: keep making those adjustments and keep competing. But that was a good response by those two.
How nice was it to see what the offense did in the eighth inning?
It was really good. It starts with Manny taking a walk, not trying to do too much, and then you get on there. You got to take advantage when they give you free 90 feeds. And I thought it was awesome. Icefelder gets his first start, has some really good swings, makes a nice play in right center, and there's no ego right there. Hands off that at bat to Tyler Myatt, and Myatt crushes one again. And then just working together, Trent, it was nice to see him get his first home run. I know he was pretty excited, and his teammates were for him too, which is probably one of the coolest things and the best signs you can see is when those teammates are as equally or more fired up for you. But just a lot of good things and not trying to do too much, and we need to be able to put up those 4, 5, 6 spots when we can.
How do you assess your offense's ability to hit the ball to all fields right now and their approach at the plate?
Sure. Any player in particular, or you're just saying holistically?
Collectively.
Yeah, I think you can look at some different things. Numbers, they're not where they need to be. If you look at just specifically an SEC play, and there's some guys that are hitting lower and maybe towards the 200 mark that I think have a chance to be impact players in this league, and not even to that halfway point. So, again, we'll continue to make adjustments. We're going to see some different looks, but I got a ton of confidence in those guys. I think really the focus needs to be, instead of, hey, what's my average? It's, are we executing in spots? Are we using the whole field? Are we in a position that is putting the offense as a whole in our team to have success? And I think that's where the focus has been with the guys, instead of, hey, where am I hitting or what's my average and whatnot. But it can always be better, but we'll continue to grind away with those guys.
Myatt seems to be so dangerous, specifically off the bench. What do you see his role being in the future?
Well, I think that's the second base spot has been very fluid all year long. And, Ariel is in a better spot now with his shoulder. He's in a good spot. It was nice to get him back out there tonight, what he can do defensively. But he just needs to take the same approach to starting. I know that's an easier said than done thing, but not trying to do too much, and he's really just squaring it up. And I thought when he came off the bench on Sunday, maybe just a little bit underneath the ball, trying to leave the yard, which is normal human nature in that spot. You want to be the hero or whatever it may be, but he needs to stick with what works, and that seems to be that low heart rate and getting into good counts and then driving balls when he gets there.
Is there any update on Stone? Last time we asked you.
Yeah, so Stone he's actually looks a lot better. It was pretty scary there for the first few days. I mean, the eye was essentially swollen shut, and he's going through the process, and the prognosis was, hey, we'll kind of wait and see. And we're still a little bit there, but a little bit more cautiously optimistic than we were. But any sort of definitive timeline, we're going to have to let it play out a little bit more. But if you saw him today, it looks just kind of like a bruise on his eye, and it's good to see him looking normal again at this point.
Is there any surgery that's coming for him or anything like that?
Yeah, that'll be down the road. The first thing will be have to get that nose fixed. The way it hit him in the orbital bone, and then it basically went 2 different directions right there. So that'll be the first thing. We'll have to get that box checked. But we got great people in the room and in the building that'll get him taken care of. And I know he's chomping at the bit to get back out there.
Why did you roll with Nathan Ray? What did you see from him?
Well, we talked with the team. It was just when you go off the bench, like Maya coming off left-handed or Jay's left-handed, like we need another right-handed option right there. And he's been limited as at bats, and they had a so-so fall, but was a really good high school recruit and played at IMG, and he's a winner. And behind the scenes, we continue. We talk about development all the time. But it's an everyday thing around here. So Wednesday, these guys are getting live ABs or challenges, and he continues to leave the yard and put up quality at bats. And I just thought it was time to give him a chance because he's earned it every single day, and I thought he did a good job of kind of checking that box. And we'll continue to see how we mix and match there. But like Ben alluded to, if we're not getting the results offensively that we want, I think you have to be able to mix and match a little bit and try some different things.
Where's Krenzel at right now?
That's a great question. That was one thing we wanted to get him out there tonight. I know that they're continuing to work on some things with the delivery to get him back in the strike zone because objectively, when Krenz, the stuff is gross. It's really, really good stuff. It's 98 with a really good breaking ball, but there's been a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde right there. So it's our job as coaches to work him through that, and I'm confident in our pitching staff and everybody to get him there. But would like to get him in there tonight, but we'll get him some work on the mound tomorrow, and then we'll get him back out there. But I know I talked to him pregame. He's in a good headspace, and we just need him to get in that right spot and get back to attacking like he does because he's really, really good when he does that.
Seemed like your post-game meeting was a little longer than normal. Did you see something you didn't like tonight, or were you just trying to get them ready for what's to come this weekend?
A little bit of both. I mean, Sundays, that's a pretty emotional, and there's a lot of words that I could use for that Sunday game, but just sitting there, we talked about the pop-up. Like, that's one thing that bugs me. Again, I've learned a long time ago, anytime you win, it's a good day, period, right? But if you don't fix the things that can hurt you down the line, it's going to hurt you and you're not going to win games. So just talked about some pop-up stuff, some competitive stuff right there. But my challenge for the team was we've been through the mud here a little bit, right? So it's very simple. The next time we're there, whether it's Friday or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's, hey, it's, oh, no, here we go again. Or it's, hey, we've been here before, no problem, link up with the guy next to you and let's go compete. But we just need to pay attention to limiting the free 90 feet. We've talked about it with those guys, but I just wanted to make sure that, hey, we're excited about the win, but also, too, we need to make sure as we continue to get better and make these adjustments, we can talk about these close games, but we have to make the behavioral changes and then execute better to get to where we want to go. So that was more just kind of an all-encompassing thing of, the last couple of weeks, and they had their attention there at the end of the game.
Do you anticipate running out the same starters this weekend? And is Cam at a spot where you could maybe use him twice in a weekend?
Yeah, Cam is a really special arm and turned down a lot of money to come to school. So that's one, especially with he was a freshman, right? It's the first time he's gone through this. And I've seen with Frank and the guys over the years that you have to be careful with those guys because this is going to be the biggest workload jump they've ever had going from high school to their first year of college. So that's something in the back of the mind. And what I love about Cam is he's so low maintenance, but also I will never take for granted how lucky we are to have him on campus and ever put him in a position where he's not in a position to have success long term. So, we've talked about some different things about, hey, do we do some changes or whatever, but we'll get through tomorrow. The guys will compete a little bit, but I don't really anticipate any huge changes. We just need to be better at the end of the games.
What stands out about Mississippi State? I know it's early in the week, but what do you know about them at this point?
Not a ton. I mean, we saw them down there. They were at the same tournament. I know it's a lot of players from Virginia and a lot of players from Mississippi State. They essentially took a lot of those great players and stacked them into one team. Ace Reese is the focal point in the middle, who's one of the most feared hitters in the country. But as we look into the SEC now, as we get into like the bigger deal, we'll have to look at, hey, what is the stats for the whole year versus just SEC? There's usually can be some discrepancies or differences there that you can attack in different ways. But it's a talented club that's coached very well. I mean, Coach Oak is a championship level coach. He's done it. Been to Omaha as a player and then obviously as a coach. But we're excited for the challenge and some warmer weather and get down there and see what we got.